guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am back with another Marriage Boot Camp Hip Hop Edition Season 17 review. This review is for episode 9, and we are one episode away from the season finale, so if you did not watch my reviews for episodes 1 through 8, please go check those out, and let's just get right into this review because this is the lie detector test episode. So this is the lie detector test episode of Marriage Boot Camp, which they do every single season of the show. If you've watched past seasons, they have the couples come up with questions that they want to ask each other before they decide to stay together or not at the end of Marriage Boot Camp. Now, this particular season, nobody really seems nervous about taking the lie detector test except for maybe Shonda and Willie because they have the most at stake. They're the ones with the 3 children and they've been married for 12 years. So they have the most at stake. If one of them ends up failing this lie detector test, their marriage could be over, and whatever happens is going to affect their children, whether it's good or bad. So I'm actually nervous for the two of them because I honestly feel like if there's any deception indicated on anybody's lie detector test in the house, it's going to be either Shonda or Willie who's telling a lie. So I'm actually nervous for the two of them. And then Hazel seemed like she was a little bit nervous, but not to take the lie detector test herself, but for Devon to take it. She's scared of what his result is going to be because she wants to know if he's using her for clout, which is what she's been saying the entire season. So I'm interested to see what his results end up coming to as well. So things got pretty messy at the beginning of this episode between Hazel and Devon because Devon was in the kitchen with Phaedra and he was asking her if she feels some type of way about Medina conversing with the other women in the house because Medina's always conversing with the other women in the house. And I think at this point in time, he was outside having a conversation with Tahiri about the lie detector test. And Phaedra said no, she doesn't have a problem with Medina conversing with the other women in the house. And I agree with Phaedra. I don't think you should have a problem with your partner talking to the other women that's inside the Marriage Boot Camp house. You're in the house together. Everybody's trying to get to know each other. Everybody needs to vent a little bit. And I just don't see the problem as long as nobody's being inappropriate, okay? And I think Devon asked Phaedra that question because anytime he's talking to any other woman in the house or any of the men in the house as well, and Hazel's not around, Hazel gets pissed off and mad at Devon and feels like he's doing something wrong. So as he's having this conversation with Phaedra, he goes up to where Hazel is, and Hazel gets pissed off because she feels like he was downstairs talking crap about her and talking about their relationship to Phaedra, and so she started flipping out on him, telling him that he doesn't need to be discussing his woman with any other bitch, which was disrespectful because none of the women in the house have done anything to Hazel, and so I just don't understand why she had to refer to them as bitches, and then I just don't understand why she had to go in on Devon when he didn't do anything wrong. She honestly treats him like he's her son or he's her little brother rather than her man, and I just feel like if you're going to be with a guy who's a lot younger than you, why are you constantly treating him like he's a little boy? If you feel like he's a little boy and he's not like up to your standards, then why are you with him in the first place? Okay, she's causing her own problems in her relationship at this point. Yes, Devon does have problems with aggression, but so does Hazel. Okay, she's not innocent in the situation. And so Phaedra goes up to Hazel and she tells Hazel that Devon wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't even talking about her when they were having a conversation down in the kitchen. But Hazel seemed like she didn't want to hear anything that Phaedra had to say because honestly she didn't believe it. Now Devon was telling Hazel as well that he didn't do anything wrong, but she starts yelling at him, threatening to throw a drink in his face. And I was just like, why is she acting like that? At one point, she even stood up and got in his face, and so security had to come between them because, you really shouldn't be doing stuff like that. Look what happened with Vado and Tahiri. So he ends up walking away from Hazel because he's getting aggravated at her yelling and screaming at him when he didn't do anything wrong. Now, she tries to tell him that he's projecting his nervousness about taking the lie detector test on her when it's actually the other way around because Devon seemed actually calm and confident about taking his lie detector test. It was actually Hazel who was nervous about the results of Devon's lie detector test, and so she was projecting her nervousness onto Devon, and it was coming out in anger. And I just feel like she treats him like a little boy a lot, but I do think it was great that he stood his ground because honestly, even though he's younger than her, he's still a man and you shouldn't talk to him like that. Like if you feel like he's too young for you and you feel like you have to constantly talk to him like you're his mom, then maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship with a younger man. So everyone gets called into the boot camp room so that they can come up with their lie detector test questions for their partners. And Vado basically lost his right to ask Tahiri a lie detector test question because of him snatching her up by her shirt a few episodes ago, which I don't think is fair. I think if you're going to snatch his right to ask her a lie detector test question, then she shouldn't be able to ask him one either, because they were both wrong in that situation. And the fact that production and then Dr.Ish and Judge Toller are just making it seem like Vado was the one in the wrong and that Tahiri was innocent in the situation, for me, is just not right. And I hope that next season they are holding everybody accountable for their actions, male or female, because I just feel like this whole situation was very biased. But he loses the right to ask a question, but Judge Toller and Dr.Ish will be asking Tahiri a question. Now, Hazel E. gets excused from taking the lie detector test because of her miscarriage. Her body is going through a lot at the moment, and so they don't want to put her through the stress of the lie detector test. And they also feel like her result won't be accurate because of what her body's going through. So she gets to be excused from it, which Devon wasn't really happy about, because he just doesn't think that it's fair that she gets to ask him a question, but he doesn't get to ask her any questions. Now, Judge Toller ends up calling up the couples one by one so that they can come up with their lie detector test questions, and Phaedra and Medina end up going first. And Phaedra's question for Medina is, does Medina want a sexual relationship with her? And Medina's question for Phaedra is, does Phaedra want a sexual relationship with him? I think he wants a sexual relationship with her, but I don't think that she wants a sexual relationship with him. So I'm interested to see how those results end up turning out. Now, Willie and Shonda end up going next, and Willie's question for Shonda is, can you forgive him for his infidelity? And Shonda's question for Willie is, does Willie plan to be faithful going forward in their relationship? I feel like one of them is going to lie on the lie detector test, or both of them might, because I just don't really think that Shonda's going to be able to forgive Willie. And I don't even know if he's going to be able to stay faithful based on what happened at the end of this episode. Now, Hazel and Devon end up going next, and Hazel wants to know if Devon is using her for fame, and Devon wants to know if Hazel sees him as a man or if she sees him as a little boy. She sees him as a little boy, to be honest with you, because the way she talks to him is like he's her son. She doesn't talk to him like he's her man. She doesn't treat him like she's her man. She feels like she has to babysit him all the time, and it's a really odd dynamic between the two of them because of that reason. Now, Tahiri ends up going next, and her question for Vado is, are you really sorry for what you did? And then because Vado ended up losing his opportunity to ask Tahiri a question, Judge Toller ends up asking a question to Tahiri, and the question is, do you think physical violence is a normal part of a relationship? Everyone ends up going to take their lie detector test minus Hazel. And, when Devon is going to take his test, Hazel starts crying to some of the people in the house because she says that she believes Devon is using her. And if she feels like he's using her, then I feel like even if his lie detector test comes back that he's not using her for clout, she's still going to believe that he is in the back of her mind. And I don't even know what this clout is that she's talking about, because she barely has any clout for herself. She wanted to break into the music industry, which is not working out for her. And the only thing she's really known for is being on Love and Hip Hop. And she hasn't even had a big story on there in quite some time. So for me, I just don't really understand what the clout is that she's talking about. Maybe a social media following is what she's talking about, because she really doesn't have any clout in the grand scheme of things. Now, Shonda says that she is nervous about the results of Willie's test because it's going to either make or break their relationship. And she's nervous that her or Willie could be deceptive on the lie detector test, because she said it herself, she doesn't even know if her lie detector test is going to come back that she can actually forgive Willie for all the cheating that he's done in the past, which I don't think she's going to really be able to forgive him for anyway until she really works on herself and how she feels about herself. Because to be honest with you, the minute they go home and they get into some type of argument, the cheating that he's done is going to end up coming up somehow. It always happens in relationships all the friggin' time. If you've done something years ago and you're not over that shit, the second you get into an argument about something completely different than the cheating is going to end up coming into the argument somehow. Now, Phaedra says that she doesn't know if she wants to have sex with Medina right now because of the fact that what she has is really good. Like, she says that she's really good sexually, and so she knows what she has, and so she gives it to him. Things could start to get a little crazy in the relationship, because once you incorporate sex into a relationship, that's when things in the relationship start to shift and change. But personally, I don't feel like she's really that into Medina, and that's the reason why she hasn't wanted to have sex with him, because they've been together supposedly 6 months and they haven't had any sex yet, not even an inkling of sex. So I just don't even feel like she's interested in him. I thought that the two of them were only on the show just for the money that they were going to get for doing it. I don't even really believe that they're an actual couple. Now, after everyone takes their lie detector test, Devon tries to go and have a conversation with Hazel to try to work things out because of the argument that they had at the beginning of the episode. And Hazel is just taking no accountability at all for her actions. She blamed him for the argument, even though she's the one who caused the argument and made it escalate to something bigger than what it actually needed to be. She told him basically that, the only thing she's worried about in the relationship is if he's using her for clout, and that if his lie detector test comes back that he's not using her for clout, then everything will be all good in their relationship. And I don't really believe her, because there's more problems in their relationship than her just feeling like he's using her. And, everybody knows that lie detector tests are not completely accurate. So even if it does say that he's not using her for it, in the back of her mind, she's still going to feel like he is, because he's a lot younger than her and she's the breadwinner in the relationship. And so she's always going to feel like he's using her in some way, shape, or form. And I just wish that she would take accountability for her part and why their relationship is the way that it is. Because if both parties in the relationship do not take accountability for their actions, there's no way that you can change the toxic behavior that you have. So the relationship is always going to be toxic. So until she learns to take accountability for what she does in the relationship as to why they have problems, I don't see that relationship working out. So everyone ends up getting called into the boot camp room to find out their test results, or so they thought. And Judge Toller comes into the room and lets them know that 3 people were deceptive on the test. And then she drops a bomb on them that they're going to have to wait until the next day to find out what their test results were, which everybody was disappointed, because how are you going to tell people that 3 people were deceptive and now tell them that they have to wait to find out who it was? So for me, I get annoyed when shows do that too, but I can understand why they do it, because they want to make sure that you're excited for the next episode. So they also let the couples know that they will be going out to the club, partying separately. They're going to be single for the night, which they do every single season of the show, and sometimes it gets messy and sometimes people behave. But this episode in particular, Hazel was not happy about Devon going out to party separate from her, because him and her both said that, they don't go out separately. Devon has never been out to a club without Hazel with him, and so she's really nervous about what he's going to do. Somebody hurt her really bad in a past relationship and made her have zero trust for anybody, because now with Devon, even if he doesn't do anything for her not to trust him, she's going to not trust him anyway, because she dealt with situations in the past where she couldn't trust the men that she was in a relationship with, which is really sad. And she really needs to work on her self-esteem and work on, letting go of those situations that happened in the past, because the only way that she's going to be able to move forward in the relationship with Devon, or anybody else for that matter, is if she lets go of the hurt that she had in the past. Now, they all get to the club, and the ladies are having more fun than the guys at first. They're partying, they're drinking, they're dancing. There's men coming up to them trying to talk to them. Shonda was kind of entertaining one of the guys, and I just felt like, she shouldn't be doing that. I know that, Willie's cheated on her a lot, and so she started cheating on him. But the two of them, the way that they acted at these clubs, partying separate from each other, just shows why they have zero trust in their relationship. And I honestly don't think that it's going to work out between the two of them in the long run, because they just seem like they don't know how to act. So she was basically the only one that acted a bit inappropriate at the club, because she was really entertaining the guy that came up to her. Now, the guys decide that they want to have a good time, and they're partying, okay? Devon was partying like he's never partied before. He drank so much. He was dancing so much. He was having a good time, but at the same time, once he started getting more drunk, he started saying that partying without Hazel wasn't the same, and that he wishes that Hazel was with him. And at one point, there was some girls that came to their section, and Willie was entertaining these women, okay? And Devon and Medina were in the corner staring at Willie, just saying, you know, he's gonna get himself into some trouble, because he was really entertaining these women that were coming up to them. One of the girls asked if they could sit in their section, and Willie said yes. And then the girls asked them if they were all married, and Willie said no, when he is actually indeed the married one in the group. He said no, the guys weren't married. And Devon was not having it, okay, which I laughed when I saw this, because he was not playing any games. He does not want to have to deal with Hazel when he goes home. So he kicked these girls out of their section, which kudos to him for kicking those girls out the section, because he was not trying to get himself into any type of trouble at all. Hopefully he wasn't just doing that because the cameras was there and he wouldn't entertain those women if the cameras weren't there. But he saved Willie too, and all the other guys, because Willie was about to get himself into trouble. And see, the way that Shonda and Willie were entertaining other people is exactly what they do in their regular daily lives. And so that's why they have problems in their relationship. I honestly think the cheating isn't going to stop on either side. So I just don't see it working out between the two of them. Now, as they're leaving the club, Devon is drunk, okay? He's in the back of the limo, and he throws up on himself because he continues to drink once they get into the limo. It was disgusting to see, to be honest with you. I was just mad that they showed it and didn't blur it out, because I just can't with vomit. It was disgusting. They had to help him out of the limo, and they had to bring him upstairs to his bedroom, and it got to the point where paramedics had to come in and check on Devon because he was so drunk that, you know, they was really worried about him. Now, Hazel ends up coming in, and she goes upstairs to her room to find the paramedic in the room with Devon, checking on him to make sure that he's okay. And Hazel didn't even seem worried about Devon, to be honest with you. She was too busy yelling at him, asking him what the blood was on his shirt, because she thought that a woman was dancing on him and maybe she was on her period and that got on him. So she starts yelling at him and asking him what was he doing and was a woman dancing on him, and she slams the door and starts yelling at him some more, and that's how the episode ended. And I'm just like, this girl has got to stop doing what she does. Like, he's over there damn near dying of alcohol poisoning, and you're screaming at him because you think another woman was dancing on him at the club, when actually he was the one who behaved himself and actually kicked the girls out of the section. But she doesn't know that, and she doesn't trust that he would do that, because I guess guys that she was with before didn't, and so she's taking that into her relationship with him. But that's the way the episode ended. The episode ended with Hazel questioning him about if a woman was dancing with him at the club, and she slammed the door, and that's how the episode ended. So the episode cut there. I did think it was an entertaining episode, and I'm definitely interested to see what happens in the season finale next week on Thursday. I will try to get that review out the very next day on Friday. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you to all my subscribers for the support. I appreciate you all so very much. And until next time, I will see you guys in my next video.